Hi all, Brad Wright from the Single Malt Whisky Club, and for February we have two fantastic whiskies. The brand new release from Amber Lane, the little brother to the massively awarded Silk Road, and for only the second time in 20 years, a blended Scotch whisky from a little known but rapidly becoming cult status indie bottler, the Rolling Cask. Now, Amber Lane's Silk Road was a cask strength expression and was released with much recognition and much awards back in 2022, including gold in San Francisco, silver at the World Whiskies Awards, and finalist in the Oz Spirit of the Year. So for our February Malt of the Month, we are proud to launch the very first batch of Silk Lane. The same whiskey, but at a bottle strength of only 48% ABV. Amber Lane is one of Australia's most well-respected and awarded distilleries. Since their launch in 2018, Amber Lane have been wowing Australia's whisky-loving community, as well as cementing Australia's reputation as a producer of world-beating whisky. There's hardly a product on their website that doesn't have at least a couple of medals associated with it. So a huge part of Amber Lane's success lies with the use of large format casks only. You won't find any 25 litre casks in the Amber Lane Bond store. The other component of the Amber Lane process, I guess, is their use of the cognac tradition of aging, which is moving all the maturations through multiple barrels, each beginning with an initial maturation in virgin oak. The Silk Lane matured for over 5 years in 3 stages. Initially virgin American oak casks for 12 months, prior to moving through 2 different ex-bourbon casks from Heaven Hill for the next 4 and a bit years, for a total of 5 years and 2 months in wood. This single cask release and subsequent Silk Lane releases have been brought down to a very healthy and generous 48% ABV for bottling. There it is, beautiful colour, lovely label. Let's get into it, shall we? On the nose, masses, and I mean masses, of American oak goodness here. Citrus peel, vanilla, floral notes by the bouquet, some almondine. There's a rich oakiness underlying it all, and it's all wrapped in a creamy, almost banana custardy sort of cloak. Yum. Let it sit in the glass for a few minutes and a lovely earthy umami sort of comes through as well. Palate. Yum. Deliciously creamy mouthfeel with just a little wave of pepper, which precedes a huge tsunami of apricots, honey, biscuit spices. There's a real Arnott's Malto Milk Bicky vibe in there. And a citrus peel piquantness that really sees in the finish. The finish is delicious and nutty. Oh, it's so good. The finish is delicious and nutty. That almondine from the nose really comes back with a honey drizzle that sweetens it right back up again. Just as some salted toffee emerges to sort of see it out. Wow, this whiskey is a ride. So many facets that jump out, creep in, skulk away, and then re-emerge. And what a roller coaster of flavours. Sweet, salty, umami, spicy, all well represented, and all playing nicely with each other. If only our kids could take this example, eh? Those who've tasted the multi-award-winning Silk Road know what to expect. This is basically that whiskey with a dash of water added. This is truly silk by name and by nature. Now, our members extra for February is something a little different. For only the second time in 20 years, we have a blended Scotch for you. That's right, the Rolling Cask 19-year-old blended Scotch whisky. Rolling Cask is a very small Aussie indie bottler that has pretty well flown under the radar with mainstream whisky fans in Oz, but is rapidly gaining a bit of a cult following both here and in the bar scenes of such places as Hong Kong and Singapore. The owner is currently in Japan on a selling trip as the interest there is high as well. It's a sensational whiskey, both price and product. A 19-year-old blend of single malts from Glengoyne, Glenrothes, Macallan and Tamdhu. The rolling cask 19-year-old blended whiskey. There is some grain whiskey from North British has been added in to balance out the blend a bit. The final product has then been left in American oak for several months, allowing the perfect marriage of all the components. Bottled at 45.8%, the whiskey is quite viscous and it's infinitely quaffable. As it was distilled, aged and bottled in Scotland, its labelling must be compliant with the British regulations. Hence, the youngest whiskey in this blend is 19 years old. Even the North British grain component has been cask aged, and I'm reliably informed this component alone is 23 years old. So, there it is. Let's have a taste. On the nose, big honey and citrus notes right out of the gate. Lots of baking spices there as well as sultanas and some real grassy floral notes. On the palate, lovely and viscous and a really scrummy, figgy, datey flavour straight up right away. First sip is a little peppery, but that settles very quickly, and by the second sip, this is a great big softie. Those fruit flavours are complemented by honey notes, some dark chocolate, some marzipan in there as well. Look, the finish isn't particularly long or fireworks incredible, but there's certainly nothing negative about it. It's just rather a gradual decline of those flavours and sweetness. Look, I get it. I only drink single malt whiskey as well, but sometimes something comes along that may be a little out of your thing, but it's well worth your trying regardless. The rolling cask 19-year-old blended whiskey is one of those things. This is unashamedly easy quaffing whiskey, and for 99 bucks, well worth getting into your favourite glass. So that's it for me for February. Two absolutely brilliant whiskies as usual. First up, the very first batch of Amber Lane's Silk Lane, the non-cask strength version of their famous Silk Road. And our members extra, 99 buck, easy drinking blended Scotch whiskey, 19 years old. I know I am getting both. Till next month, I'm Brad Wright, Single Malt Whisky Club. Slange of